there have been times where I look at a coworker or even somebody above me, and I'm like, man, I could do this better than you for sure. And it's, is it arrogant? Maybe, but most of the time I think I'm right. And it isn't so much that I'm trying to beat them. I think it's like I don't know. I think it's just kind of like it's to prove that I can do it because I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like academically,
Improve
as you know,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like academically, I never really put in 100%. Never did any internships or anything. So when you meet all these people with all these accolades, there's some doubt, especially when you first get hired. You're thinking to yourself, "Yo, do I really match up to these people?" But then you start working, put the work in, and then there's luck involved and intelligence and all these things. But then you
Absolutely,
start
yeah.
matching up yourself, and you're like, "Yo, you know what? I could play with these dogs. Like it is what it is."
Yeah.
And it's not to beat them because we're all working for the same company. We have the same goal, but it's also a way to push yourself. Like, yo, if he can do that, who's to say I can't? And then if we can both do it, it's better for the company. It's better for both of
Right.
us career wise. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I think that's
That's
where
the
it's
same with like competition in school. Like I know for a fact, like we had a lot of classes together. We had a lot of classes with like the STEM squad and whatnot.
right.
And not gonna lie, like through those years, like the same classes, like we had mini competitions on when we got exam grades back, test grades, quiz grades. Because what did you get? What did you get? What did you get? Everybody's asking like,
Mm-hmm.
what did everybody got? And like deep down, like you knew that you wanted a higher score.
Mm-hmm.
And you also knew that you didn't want to have like the lower score. Like maybe
Yep.
not the highest, but you didn't want to have the lowest, that's for sure. And that drives you to be better and to do better, and just like school, sports as well. Like, and that's I do think it's health. I do think it is healthy because it pushes everybody to be greater.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, what scenarios do you think competition can be like unhealthy?
Okay. Now this is the
Whether
gray
it's
area, right?
whether it's
Yeah.
work or sports or whatnot, like because I feel like there are some areas.
100%. Well, like we just talked about, I think the first one is pretty obvious. Once the ego overtakes the actual goal, I think that's where it becomes unhealthy. So, for example, back to the work example, if I'm looking at my coworker and I'm thinking I could do that better than he or she can, let me see if I can be more productive, finish the task faster, which helps everybody. If it gets to a point where I'm starting to like obsess about it, or maybe I'm even rubbing it in their face or something,
Yeah,
super toxic like that, that's where the ego completely just takes over, and then you lose sight of the actual goal, and that's unhealthy. I feel like.
I was
I
gonna
feel like
say where
that's
the
when it's bad.
where it leads to where like when your confidence becomes cocky,
Yeah.
then it's unhealthy
Yeah.
because like nobody likes somebody who's cocky.
Right.
I like confident people, but when you become cocky, your ego is just way too big for yourself.
And also, I even think there's. Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. 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 And also putting other people down. That's the worst part. I feel like, because you meet people, not even at work, but you just meet people who they're great at what they do, and I'm not saying that those people should be arrogant or cocky, but they're so good at what they do and they work hard for it too. It's not luck that you almost understand why they're so cocky. Like they almost have a reason to. But once it becomes, I feel like a turn off, I guess, is if they're putting other people down. Like if you think you're the best and you shout it, but you're lifting everybody up with you, I feel like it's hard to hate that guy. Like the perfect example is Andrew Schultz. He'll tell you straight to your face he's the most narcissistic perfect person you'll ever be. Like he jokes about it all the time. But the thing is, like, he's arguably the best comedian on the planet, and he also employs like I don't even know how many people he employs. And every
Right.
single project he does, he always shows gratitude to every single person who helped him along the way. So like someone like that, it's hard to hate because yeah, he's cocky and he knows he's cocky, but number one, he's great at what he does. And number two, he's always lifting up everyone around him. Once you start putting other people down, like, yo, I'm better than you, you're shit, that's when it's like, all right, bro, relax. Or girl, doesn't matter. But
And I feel like if we're talking sports, a person that comes to my mind, how you just described Andrew Schultz, would be like LeBron.
Right.
Like,
right,
like he's the greatest of all. He's the greatest, you can say, arguably, of all time. He's the greatest in today's game. He's been the greatest for the last 20 years. He says, he thinks he's the greatest. He's him, whatnot. But
he's him.
Look at the teammates around him and how much better everybody who has played with LeBron has gotten better, and not just like a little bit or whatnot, like noticeably better. Like the guys that he has around him on teams, they're way better. I mean, look at the contracts that he has gotten players in the past just because they had great years when they were playing with LeBron. Like Tristan Thompson, I don't know if he's worth 82 million, but he was with LeBron. J.R. Smith, like, was he worth big contract? Like all these guys like get huge contracts when they play with LeBron because they just play so much better. Because he brings everybody up, and like you said, like he also shows gratitude and thanks to everybody he plays with, like not just the 15-man roster, but coaches, trainers, security at the stadiums. Like, he goes down the list and thanks everybody. So he's kind of in that same boat of being confident, but it's not like putting people down. And maybe there were some greats in the past who have been confident and have put people down. But maybe that's the way that they brought the fire out of those that they were playing with.